Hello and welcome to our live deadline day Q&A from Newcastle University. We're live on YouTube right now taking any of your questions about what happens after the UCAS deadline day, how it relates to applications at Newcastle University, and anything else you might want to know about undergraduate admissions into Newcastle University now that the deadline day is fast approaching. With me are a panel of experts across the university, so I think before we get into the questions it would be good to introduce everybody, starting with yourself, Danielle.
Hi, my name's Danielle and I work in the international office.
Hi, my name's Hannah and I'm a recent graduate in zoology.
I'm Dawn and I head up the undergraduate admissions team.
And I'm Rebecca, I work in the accommodation team.
Great. If you want to ask a question at any time, there are various different ways you can get in touch. You can send us a message through the live chat on YouTube. There should be a little chat box popping up on the channel, or you can send us a DM on Instagram at Newcastle Uni, or you can send a DM on Snapchat at Newcastle Uni. Our team in the back office are taking your questions now, and we've already had a few come in, so we'll start off with probably one of the ones we get asked the most, which is when will I hear back on my application? That's from Fergal, so I think Dawn.
Yes, so if you have applied by the 15th of January deadline, we try as far as possible to make an offer to you at a maximum of 4 weeks, so a maximum of a month. It will depend a little bit upon what you've applied to. So if it's a course where you have an interview or you need to provide a portfolio, then that might be longer. Obviously, it's depending on when you have your interview and a decision, and portfolio when you submit it and when it's looked at. But we're looking at 3 to 4 weeks, maximum a month.
Great, thank you very much. Moving on from that, kind of the next in line for your application process, when can I apply for finance? Now, we don't have a member of our finance team here with us today, but it does depend on your actual circumstances because it's different for if you're a UK student, an EU student or an international student. So the best advice we can give at the moment is check on our website. If you do a search for student finance, there are some guides there. And if you can't find the information you're looking for, if you send us a direct message on social media or via our inquiry system, we'll be able to get back in touch and give you the answer depending on your personal circumstances. Next up, we've got an accommodation question. So, Rebecca, if you wouldn't mind answering this one. I've applied for mechanical engineering and my friend has applied for architecture. Is it possible we can stay together? And that's from Area on Instagram.
So the way that we allocate it is more or less anonymous. We wouldn't know which students are friends, which students aren't friends. We do try and get a good mix of students within the accommodation, so it's unlikely that you'll be with your friend. It has happened in the past, but it's not a conscious effort from the allocations team. The mixture within the flats, we try and get a mixture of courses, a mixture of nationalities, so that you make your friends on your course, but also in your accommodation, just to widen your friendship groups to make sure you get the best student experience.
Okay, great. And there is a room swap service, so would that be a recommended if they're desperate to stay with their best friends?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
is that
so
the other
that
option?
is something that you can apply to. What would happen is you would be in the accommodation first, and usually we open that once you've been in it a few weeks, just so you have a feel for it, just to kind of avoid any knee-jerk reactions. So this year it opened on the 1st of October, but it is usually open by the 1st of November, so it's that kind of month.
Right, so you do have a bit of time to get used to your flatmates, and then maybe you might find a new best friend.
Yeah, absolutely.
You are watching our live deadline day Q&A. We are taking any questions you might have about applying to, getting into, or the next steps after you've got your offer here at Newcastle University. Questions about our main campus in Newcastle or our campus in London. If you have any questions about the business courses available there, send us a message. You can use the chat window in YouTube, or you can send us a DM on Snapchat at Newcastle Uni or on Instagram at Newcastle Uni. We've got some more questions coming in here. This one for you, Hannah, would be a good place to start. What is life like for a student living in Newcastle? Jobs, nightlife, things to do?
So Newcastle's really great in that there's quite a lot of things to do. There's the added bonus of you've got like that kind of campus feel, but then there's the city 2 minutes away. So there's always something to do either on campus or off. And then if you get sick of like the city life, there's the beach 15 minutes away. And there's plenty of opportunities for jobs both on campus and off. So there's really a lot of great things that you can do within Newcastle.
Yeah, I mean, we have the Jobs on Campus scheme, so that's when you're studying here, part-time opportunities working with the university. The careers service gives
the careers service is
advice
great.
and support. And also, I mean, for a flavour of the kind of jobs that are available, if you check our Instagram feed, every other Friday we do post available vacancies for students as a way of helping our students get jobs while they're studying here. And as somebody that you might guess from my accent isn't from the Northeast, I've stuck around for a good 15 years since moving here for university, and that's how great it is to live here in Newcastle. Just a small plug there. We've got another question about UCAS scores. How important is UCAS for dentistry? Do you consider people with low scores? That's from Parmida on YouTube.
So UCAS score forms part of the application. So it's looked at in relation to the other areas of the application, so A-level results or A-level predictions, good experience, and the whole thing. It is important though, because dentistry is very, very competitive. Obviously, we have lots and lots of very highly qualified applicants, so the UCAS is an important part of it.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. You're tuning into our live deadline day Q&A, where you can ask any questions of our panel of experts. We have experts from the international team. We have a recent graduate, head of admissions. We have Rebecca from accommodation. Plus, we have people on hand to answer any questions about our London campus and anything else you might want to know about. If you want to ask a question, there's the chat box on YouTube, or you can send a DM on Instagram at Newcastle Uni or on Snapchat at Newcastle Uni. Keeping with the theme of medicine and dentistry, is accommodation, not for you this time, Dawn, is accommodation for medical students separate to everyone else?
It's not, no. We don't classify which course. We don't group students by course. Everybody gets put into the pot and allocated in the same way.
So it's all random?
It is.
Excellent. I've got a question from Matthew on email. I attended a campus day, I'm assuming open day, but did not get the opportunity to speak to a professor in chemical engineering. Do you have applicant open days to facilitate this? And the answer is we do. Most courses have a post-application visit day, which you'll be invited to once you've received your offer.
That's right.
Yep. Which will give you the chance to chat to current students and the academic staff and find out more about the course. And if I'm not mistaken, some might have interviews, some might not, or is...
Not for post-application visit days. So for chemical engineering, once an offer's gone out, we'll also get an invitation to come along. So
great, thank you. A question from Emily on Instagram. My offer is BBC. Does an EPQ count towards this? Lots of acronyms. Dawn.
Right. For some courses, EPQ can form part of the offer. And for others, what we will do is, we do welcome EPQs. It's a very, very valuable additional qualification. But in some cases, it doesn't form part of the offer we make you, but we'll take it into strong consideration at confirmation.
Great, thank you very much. Another accommodation question. Nope, that's one we've already asked. Apologies for that. You're watching the Deadline Day Q&A live on YouTube. If you want to ask any questions of our panel of experts, we've got experts from the international team, accommodation, admissions, a recent graduate, plus team members from the London campus in the back office answering questions. You can send them to us in the chat box on YouTube or on Snapchat at Newcastle Uni or on Instagram at Newcastle Uni. We've got a question from Amira on YouTube. I haven't received an invitation for dentistry interview yet. Shall I be expecting any, or does it mean I've been rejected? Thank you.
They are still processing applications.
So potentially...
still to hear. As I said, decisions haven't been made. Just because you haven't received an offer for interview yet doesn't mean anything other than you haven't received an offer yet.
Great. Because deadline day is, well, for medicine, that was in October.
It was October. What happens is with medicine and dentistry, obviously all applications are looked at the same time, and then their interviews take place and offers are made all together. So with dentistry in particular, because they have quite a spread out set of interviews, so it's all they have started making interviews and dates and so on, but it's going to be carrying on for a little while yet. So,
yeah. So don't worry if your friend's got one and you haven't yet. It's not the end of the world. There could still be a chance you're getting one coming through. So a question from Lauren on Instagram. What is the likelihood of being accepted into a business management course via clearing?
Via clearing?
Yes. A bit early, but good to see you prepared.
It is a little bit early. It absolutely is down to how many people meet the entry requirements that we've made who have accepted us, our offers during the cycle. As an example, business management last year didn't go into clearing at all, so if it's the same as last year, then obviously very little chance, but year on year that does change.
Great, thank you very much. You're watching a live Deadline Day Q&A here on YouTube, and we are taking your questions about anything to do with what happens after the UCAS Deadline Day here at Newcastle University, whether that's accommodation questions, international questions about visas, questions about student life or offers. You can ask your questions in the YouTube chat box, or you can send us a message on Snapchat at Newcastle Uni or on Instagram at Newcastle Uni. And this question is going to involve two people answering. It's like a quick fire round. When is the earliest to apply for an international visa and then accommodation if you've already been accepted? And that's from Carol on YouTube. So we'll start with the visa question and then move to accommodation.
So my understanding is, if it's the same for postgraduate as it is for undergraduate, that there is a limited time that your CAS will be valid for. So I think we are a little bit early in the cycle now for people to be applying for visas. It's not usually until sort of June, July time. I think it's a 3-month validity period, but we would need to double check that that's correct. To make sure that you're being given the correct advice. But all that information is available on our website for international students, and we do have a dedicated visa support team if you've got any sort of more detailed questions about the visa application process and when is the best time to apply.
Great. And then for an international student applying for accommodation?
So you can apply once the accommodation application goes live. We are working on it at the moment. You will receive an email to let you know when it is live. It's not first come, first serve, so there's no mad dash to get on there and apply. But if you already know that you're coming, you can of course make your application. That will be processed at the beginning of July.
Great. And it bears reminding, and this goes the same from the admissions team as well as accommodation and anywhere, please make sure that your email address is the most up-to-date one, and preferably not a school email address, because when it gets to the crunch time and school shuts, you tend to not get access to that anymore. And where's the best place to update that?
And best place to update it is on via UCAS, because that will then filter through to all of the choices that you've made application to.
Great.
And from an accommodation point of view, when you register for your application, again, that'll be the email that we use. So again, not a school email, because you won't have access to it, and you might miss some really important emails or deadlines from the accommodation team.
Great, thank you very much. I've got a question about scholarships now, and that's come in from Becca on Snapchat, and she'd like to know, how can I apply for scholarships independent from my parents' income? Anybody on the panel want to pick that one up, or? Because scholarships can be quite tricky. We offer a vast range of scholarships, and it does depend on your individual circumstances. So the best way to find out is go on our website, and if you visit the course page that you're interested in, under the Fees and Funding tab, it lists all the relevant scholarships and funding available, and each one should have additional information. If you can't find what you're looking for, ask us through private message on social media, or use the inquiry form on the website, and we'll be able to look into that for you. But it does vary depending on what you're applying for, so it's can't say for sure.
It's my understanding that there are some that are merit-based and that are subject specific, so there will be some that aren't solely based on parent income.
Great, thank you very much. Back to the accommodation. Anna on YouTube would like to know, are you able to visit all accommodations on post-application visit days, or is it just Castle Leazes?
It is just Castle Leazes. We do have a show flat for Parkview Student Village that you can also visit at the same time as Castle Leazes. We do have virtual headsets, so there will be members of the accommodation service at Castle Leazes with those. So drop in, have a go of them. Otherwise, it would be the virtual tours on the website.
Great, thank you. Which accommodation did you stay in?
So I stayed in Ballston Court.
Oh, right, okay.
Yes, that's one of the further out ones, so you have to get the metro in
Yeah.
rather than on campus.
Good experience?
Yeah, it was good. It was quite nice. It was one of the smaller accommodations, so it was quite a community feel, so it was quite nice.
And a lot of people, when they look at the application system and they say, oh, not on campus, they think, oh, I don't want to apply there. But from your experience, was that detrimental to the
Not at
halls,
all.
or?
The metro service was like 5 minutes walk away, and it's about 7 minutes to get in. And yeah, and I think it's the cheapest ensuite that we have.
Yeah, of course, we subsidise the price
So-
to make up for the travel costs. So yes, it is the most affordable ensuite product that we have.
Great. And also, if you're driving, it's probably quicker to get the metro than driving.
Yeah.
So Right, next up, another international question. So Danielle, for you, as a South African student, how can I apply to your university?
So the application process at this stage is the exact same as it would be for our home students, so that would be applying through UCAS.
Great, so that's nice and easy.
Yep.
So the deadline is tomorrow if you're doing that, so you probably should get your application in as quickly as possible. You're watching the Deadline Day live Q&A here from Newcastle University. We're taking your questions about applying to Newcastle, what happens after deadlines, when you get offers, accommodation, life as a student, anything you'd like to know about undergraduate study here, you can ask right now. You can ask in the chat box on YouTube, or you can send us a question via DMs on Instagram at Newcastle Uni or on Snapchat at Newcastle Uni. We're also taking questions about our campus in London. If you've applied there or would like to know more, feel free to ask any questions. We have one from Suze via email, and she'd like to know, when will my partner's application be decided? Dawn.
All right, so there is a separate application process for partners, so that will go through to the partners team, and they will make a decision as quickly as possible. So once the partners application is confirmed, it will then come through to the admissions team to then make the offer based upon the partner status. But they are turned around fairly quickly as soon as we get the application form and any of the accompanying documents.
Great. For those of you who don't know, the partner scheme is something we offer to help people get a lower offer in general to the university depending on personal circumstances. Hannah, you were a partner student. How did you find that?
Yeah, it's good. It's a really good opportunity to experience university before you start in September. You get to meet people from your course. So already you're meeting friends a few months before you start in September. And you get to see all the facilities, learn how the computer system works. So it's really kind of a head start to everyone else.
Great. And in terms of if somebody's already applied and they've only just heard now, right now, they're like, oh, partners, that sounds like something I could have done. Is it possible that they could then switch, or?
If they contact the partners team, go on to the website, have a look at the guidelines for applying for partners, contact the partners team, and yes, they can.
Great. So, another accommodation question. Accommodation query, will we live alone, or will we need to share our space with other people? And that's from Danielle on Instagram. Obviously not this one, because that would be impressive.
So we have a range of accommodation. We do have what we call the flat accommodation. So you have shared facilities, kitchen facilities, and potentially your own ensuite. We do have studios if you do prefer to live by yourself, so that would be your bedroom, your bathroom and your kitchen, all self-contained. We do have castle leases, which is slightly different. That's what we mean by the hall style accommodation, which is rooms along a corridor with shared facilities also on that corridor. And the flat sizes do vary from maybe 4 right up to maybe 11. So that's something to think about when you make your application. Would you prefer to be in a smaller community or a larger community?
Great. Completely out of the blue on fine art, another one for you, Dawn. What type of students are you looking for?
Good question. That is very broad, isn't it? So part of the requirements for fine art are the submission of a portfolio. There's lots of guidance which is given there, that the sorts of things to submit within that portfolio. Lots of examples of work, so work you might have done with your qualification, but also personal work. So wide range of people, we'll welcome people with all sorts of backgrounds, but obviously a big part of your entry is your portfolio.
Yep. We're getting lots of questions coming in. We've got about 15 minutes left on this live stream, so please do, if you have a question you'd like answering, ask it as quickly as possible in either the chat box on YouTube or send us a DM on Snapchat at Newcastle Uni or on Instagram at Newcastle Uni. Another accommodation question, why not? Which accommodations have an ensuite shower/toilet that are either on campus or fairly close? And that's from Rhiannon on YouTube.
So we've already quickly discussed Bowsden. That's our off-campus ensuite accommodation. We have got a brand new build, which is Parkview Student Village. They are exclusively ensuite. There is just less than 1,300 rooms there. So that is definitely our largest ensuite site. We have ensuites scattered around. We've got some at Castle Leazes, we've got some at Kensington Park, at Windsor Terrace, but they are few and far between. In amongst there will be wash basin rooms as well, so there's a whole variety. I would recommend that you look on the website because we will have a breakdown of how many rooms we have in the accommodation and what that room type will be.
Yep, so if you go to ncl.ac.uk/accommodation, on the undergraduate tab it lists all the halls, and there's a matrix on there that lists the different types and prices and all sorts like that. So there's plenty of information on our website. We've kind of covered this one again, but if you're just tuning in, Pamida is asking, are there any student jobs available in Newcastle University? And we have an entire career service dedicated to helping you not just during your studies, but after you've graduated, up to 3 years, through various different programs, whether you want to start your own business or get that dream graduate job. They put on careers fairs, part-time fairs, graduate fairs. Also, they run a scheme called JobSoc, which is Jobs on Campus, where you can get part-time employment with the university while studying here. There is a caveat for international students.
Yes, there is. So during term time, international students are only permitted to work up to 20 hours a week. We currently have 2 JobSoc students working with us in the international office. One's a home student and one's an international student. So there's a wide variety of opportunities available, whether it's in admin, hospitality, catering. So really, really good opportunities through that for students.
Hannah, as a recent grad, did you use the career service JobSoc?
Yes, I was actually a student ambassador. So this is where we get schools in to come visit, and the students go in and they look after about a group of 10 students on these on-campus visits. So if you're looking to work with children as a future career, it's a really good experience for that. And you can also do administration jobs as well. So up in Kingsgate, which is where we're based, you can go work in there and do some administration jobs for us.
And there's also open days, which
Yeah,
is...
open days, we hire loads of people for them. So yeah.
Great. We've got so many more questions coming in. It's difficult to keep on top sometimes, but is it possible to meet someone from the support team regarding my autism, and any support available? And that's come from Matthew on email. Anybody want to pick?
So yes, there is. There is actually on the website, there is within the information available for people who perhaps want additional support, you can actually refer yourself. So you can actually complete an online form and that will go through to the team. In addition to that, at application form, if anybody has said that they might need additional support, that will be followed up by the team as well. But yes.
Great. We have a dedicated team to student wellbeing and health.
Exactly.
And they're always there to speak to. When you're here as a current student, you can go to Kingsgate and ask to talk to anybody about any of your circumstances. They have drop-in sessions throughout term time. This one, I guess, we'll ask the whole panel for this one. Everyone here been to university at some point?
Yep.
Yep. Any advice on picking a firm and insurance choice? And that's from Faizin on Instagram, starting with the most recent student.
I think it really depends on what you feel is where you'd want to go. I'd suggest visiting all the places that you've applied for just to get a feel of them, because often just looking at the website isn't enough to give you an idea of whether you want to go to that place. And then often, I know when I was at school, we got told advice to pick the ones with higher grades for your firm, and then for your insurance just a bit lower, so you've got a bit of a backup in case it doesn't go quite as well for your firm.
And from an admissions point of view, just put Newcastle as firm?
Obviously put Newcastle as firm.
And insurance.
The one thing I would say is I totally agree with visit everybody, have a look at the course, making sure it's exactly what you want and that you would be happy in the place. In terms of putting the highest grade as your firm, the one thing I would say about that is if actually the place you want to go to you put as your insurance, it's much harder to unpick that at the point you get your A-level results than if actually you've put down where you really want to go first. So sometimes putting the higher grade isn't the way to go if you know you definitely want to go to one that actually has asked you something a little bit less.
Okay, and from an accommodation point of view, is there any merit from picking Newcastle as your firm over insurance?
Yeah, absolutely. So Newcastle is a very affordable city, so that means that the accommodation prices are very competitive in your first year, but also in your second year and beyond, because we don't offer accommodation for second year students and beyond. So it means that everything is relatively it's definitely fairly priced, and it's got quite a low cost of living in Newcastle as well. So that's definitely something to consider.
Great. And from an international perspective or personal, any tips?
Personal, definitely agree with what Hannah said about visiting the campus and really getting a feel for the university itself. There's only so much you can tell from the website, but agree with Dawn, definitely research the programme that it is that you're applying for and make sure it's what you actually want to study. Personally for me, I think visiting the campus and seeing what we have to offer is the best way forward. And then for international students, obviously it might be a little bit trickier for you to do that, for you to visit campus, but we have a really good international team here who can answer any questions that you might have. And we do have members of staff that travel overseas to different various events, so maybe popping along to one of the events that they do, if it's in a city or a town near you, to actually speak to someone face to face about what it's like to study here and what we have to offer that's maybe different to other cities in the UK.
And you can find out details about those events on our website, ncl.ac.uk/international. And obviously not being biased, but yeah, just firm Newcastle. It's not a hard choice.
Or I should say firm and insurance.
Firm and insurance. We've had a question in about our London campus on Snapchat. I'm interested in the London campus for the business degrees, but I haven't applied yet. Can I apply after January 15th, as a deadline date is tomorrow? Dawn.
Thea's suggesting I answer that one. So yes, although the 15th of January is the deadline date, it's a deadline for guaranteed consideration. So if there's still places available, you can apply after that date, and we encourage people to do so. We will obviously let people know if courses close, but certainly I would encourage people to apply.
And if you're not sure what our London campus is, we have a campus in the heart of London, offering degrees around the subjects of business and marketing. And if you go on our website, ncl.ac.uk/London, you can find out all about both the undergraduate and postgraduate degrees available, how to apply, about the student life, and what it's like to study with a Newcastle education in the heart of our nation's capital. If you want to get a question in for our deadline day Q&A, you have about 5 minutes left. You can ask us it in the chat box on YouTube, or you can send us a DM on Snapchat at Newcastle Uni, or on Instagram at Newcastle Uni. We've got another partner's question. My partner's programme application has been successful, and I was informed a month back, but I've not heard from the uni yet. And that comes from Ria on YouTube. Dawn.
It might depend upon what the course is that's been applied for, but if they would like to contact us directly, we'll certainly look into it for you.
Great, thank you very much. For courses that require a DBS check, is it my responsibility to get one before I enrol, or do the uni do this once I've started? That's from Jasmine on Instagram.
So for the majority of courses, we will prompt. So we will send you information about applying for DBS, when you need to do it, and how you need to do it.
Okay, great. It's a bit of a speed round, this one. Sean on YouTube is asking, is it difficult to change courses after starting in September? Anybody want to pick this one up?
My knowledge of this is mainly postgraduate related, so I'm assuming it would be the same for undergraduate, in that there is a small window there if you start the programme and you realise it's not what you expected, and there's something that's closely related that you'd maybe want to switch to. The potential is there. Where it becomes a bit more tricky is if you want to change to something completely unrelated that maybe has different entrance requirements. That's probably not going to be a likely option. Is that your understanding of
yes,
how that works?
Yes, the only other caveat would be available space.
Yes.
So it's never automatic. It will absolutely depend upon whether or not the course is able to take another person.
Great, thank you very much. And an accommodation one. Keep this quick-fire-ish round going. Are studio rooms applied for the same way as other accommodation options?
Yes, absolutely.
There we go, done. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Christian on YouTube. In my offer, it is required an English level between 6 to 6.5 in IELTS. I'd like to know if I can take another equivalent certificate, for example, the Cambridge certificates.
Absolutely, we accept a variety of different English language qualifications. So on our website you'll find some really helpful information that will explain what we'd accept as being equivalent to an IELTS certificate. There are certain Cambridge qualifications we will accept, but it's really important that you check that equivalency information to make sure it is one that is recognised by the university.
Yep, and you can do that on our website, ncl.ac.uk/international, and there's a section about English language requirements on that page. Anything else? were you going to add something in there? Or?
No, I think that's
Nope.
absolutely
Covered
right.
it nicely.
Yeah.
Okay, great. We've got about 4 minutes left in this live stream, so we're trying to get through as many questions as possible in that time. We've got a question about, just in general, I guess, from Quagsire on YouTube. Is there any way to prepare for studying at the university? That's quite a wide ranging. I mean, there's the aspect of moving into university and moving away from home, the different study environments, just preparing in general. So I guess we'll go for some quick tips from everybody around the panel here on how you would prepare best. You have one tip.
One tip, Student Room, the sort of online forum where current and prospective students share advice and tips and sort of experiences of what it's like to go to university. It's the best way to sort of see how other people are feeling and realise that you're not alone in maybe some of the concerns that you've got about moving away from home for the first time.
Hannah?
I would just say be open-minded. University is quite a unique experience in itself, so to be open to any opportunities is just a really good thing to do at university. There's lots of societies you can join, the sports clubs, all the opportunities within your course. So just be open-minded and be open to any opportunities that you get.
My tip would be learn to cook. If you control the kitchen, you control the flat.
And to wash your own clothes.
And wash your own clothes, yeah. Make sure you don't mix colours with whites. Dawn?
I would probably say take advantage of any invites you get to talk to current students before you come. They can give you lots of advice, especially about the course you're coming to do.
And from an accommodation point of view, we have got a section on our website telling you the kind of things that you should bring and what should be in your room, so you can get a good idea of what to pack. But there's also a lot of shops in Newcastle, so if you do forget anything, it's on your doorstep.
Great. We've got a few more just to squeeze in before the end. CK would like to know, for students that did not take A-levels, are they at a disadvantage in the decision-making process compared to those who took A-levels?
Not a disadvantage. It absolutely depends on what course you're applying for in relation to having the right subject level in whatever qualification it is you've done. So in some cases, if a qualification isn't available in an alternative, obviously that will be, but it'd be more about the subject and making sure it's the same level.
Great. How important is it to attend applicant visit days from Grace on YouTube?
I mean, I'd say it's a good opportunity to actually meet the people who will be teaching you, have a feel of the campus, see around the campus and the accommodation. So I'd say it's a really good place to get a great idea of whether Newcastle would be a place for you to come to uni.
And if you missed an open day, you not only get to see the campus, you get to speak to people.
Yeah,
And
because there's loads of current students about doing loads of different courses, so it's a really good opportunity to speak to them as well and see what their experience is and how they're enjoying life here.
great. Last few ones now as we are getting to the end, so unfortunately we won't be able to take any more questions. We've got 3 more to get out before we finish this live stream. First one from Fazian on Instagram. How large is the campus at Newcastle? Does anybody have an accurate figure to hectares? It's a campus in the middle of the city, so I mean, I don't know, in sizes of football pitches, 100? If you go on Google Earth and type Newcastle University, it will show you the main campus, and it is literally in the middle of Newcastle city centre. We're not a big city, but we're a friendly city, and the fact that you got the campus on the doorstep of the city, it's the perfect location, I'd say. And there's a little kind of outpost that's where the business school and computer science are based, but even that's only a 10-minute walk from the main campus. The only people that have to travel far are those doing marine who go out to the coast, which is only 20 minutes away because we're right by the coast as well. So it's a fantastic location. What can I say? That's why I've stayed here. Next one. I've applied for the Flying Start program and wanted to know when should I expect to reply. That's from Tanya on YouTube. So that's a business application.
Yeah, I can't give you precise dates, but we'll take that query through and get back to you.
We'll take a look into that.
Yeah.
And the last one, and it's not an easy one, so we might have to get back on this one as well. Emily would like to know, I've achieved BCD rather than BCC for my English language offer, but the lower grade is in chemistry, so would an EPQ be considered, as I'm putting Newcastle as my firm?
So again, what's being applied for?
So they've applied for English language.
Apply for English language.
You've got the lower grade in chemistry though.
Right, okay. So the EPQ would definitely be looked at, but it'll be looked along the whole application, so, but it would be looked at the EPQ.
Yep. Great. And that's it. That's all we've got time for today. Thank you for everybody that's watched, submitted a question. I hope we've helped as ever. We'll end this with one tip for people after UCAS deadline day from people around the panel. How do you get ready for the next stage? What would be your one piece of advice for everybody watching? Danielle?
Make sure you're actively monitoring your emails that you've put down on your various applications. We will be getting in touch with you about sort of the next steps and what to expect, so keep an eye out on those so that you don't miss anything important.
Yeah, meet all your deadlines. It's really important, especially for like student finance and accommodation. So make sure that you hit those.
Great. Dawn?
Don't take your eye off the fact that you need to meet your entry requirements. As I said, we're talking lots and lots about applications and deadline days, but obviously you need to get your grades too, so to work hard.
And from an accommodation point of view, keep an eye on the website. We will be updating all of our information for the next academic year on there very soon. Do as much research as you can on all of the accommodation sites, because although you may be guaranteed accommodation, we might not guarantee you one of your preferred choices. So just be open-minded with that.
Great. And my tip would be take the chance to talk to our current students. We have UniBuddy on our website where you can chat to all kinds of different students from different areas across the university. If you go to ncl.ac.uk and type UniBuddy into the search box, it will come up and you can chat away and ask them anything you might like about what it's like to be a student here in Newcastle. And with that, it leaves me nothing else to say but goodbye. Thanks for watching and good luck with your applications. Bye.